Papa Steve's here, and I've been having fun with the sculk sensors. I've decided to build myself a little bit of a farm to acquire some of these sculk sensors. But before I get into showing you the farm, which is really quite simple, thought I'd first show you how we can use these sculk sensor. I see before me I have two armor stands. If we would stop moving around, they'll stand in one position. When something moves, it's the sculk sensor that notices, sends a signal, and gets the armor stands to strike a new pose. How the sculk sensor actually works is a little wavy thing that when you move, it'll put out a redstone signal. As you can see, we put a light down there, the end of the line. Now, put a few of these out around your base. Anything's out walking around, and you'll get a signal. A little bit of security for these open-aired bases that we often live in. Yeah. One thing, this guy's noisy, very noisy. He will screech and make all kinds of racket. One way to silence that, the only way really, is to surround it with blocks and waterlog it. Now this sensor will be totally silenced. Problem is, redstone won't go through the block. How we can fix this is with our comparator. Place a comparator there. Now, the comparator will pull the signal through the block and signal our light as our redstone lamp as it did before. Also notice these are wool blocks. Wool blocks will make it so that it doesn't notice. We can walk around here and it does not trigger it, where the wool blocks will block its ability to see us. Now, cobblestone block or any solid block doesn't. This could be quite handy. We were to take this, I'm going to place a repeater here, solid block, redstone torch, on the back here, block on top of that torch, another redstone torch right here, and now I'm going to put a dispenser. Yes, I did bring a dispenser. Right there. So now it gets triggered, it sends a signal through, powering this block, which turns that torch off, which will turn this torch on, signal the dispenser. You might see where I'm going with this. Put a few arrows in that dispenser, and if somebody walks in front, it will shoot an arrow at him. Okay. We can stop shooting me. Do something like that. Yeah. Now we've made up a little defense system here. Ow. So if you're walking along the side, nothing happens. On the front, back here, around this side, nothing. You get out front, yeah. Fortunately, it's not the best of shots, but still, that's another pretty cool use for the sculk sensor. I'm just going to remove these arrows so I stop getting shot. Down here is right under the dirt here. Here's our sensor that's sending a signal to a couple comparators that are set up with droppers, providing a different signal strength to our armor stance. That's pretty slick. I went through that on my last video. How I actually got them to work. Now, we want to obtain some of these sensors. You have to, for starters, you have to mine it with silk touch. The best tool is the hoe. Again, the hoe has to have silk touch. If you don't have silk touch, you will lose it. How did I drop the water in there like that? How did I pick the water up? That was a little weird. Okay. In order to find these things, you gotta go to the deep dark. In my case, deep dark is a long ways away. So, I did travel there. I did get a few, but not very many. And I want to have more. I'm gonna get more of these little statue guys and you know, automatic shooting dispenser things going on. People get too close. Well, the system I come up with is the use of these mob farms. Now, I'm not suggesting you build it exactly like this. It's just something I've come up with and to make it work. Ideally, I'd like to find one of those spawner cages in the dungeons or something. That would be handy. And would work way more efficiently, probably. Or you could use pretty much any type of farm. What is a must is this block right here. And that's a sculk catalyst. You cannot farm them. You can only get them from the deep dark. Also, must be mined with silk touch. If you don't use silk touch, it will not work. And what happens is when a mob falls to his death, these mob farms, you'll notice, are taller. They're a full 24 block drop. So any mob that falls in, it seems to gather its XP. From there, it will convert, not every block, but any natural block, I believe, such as dirt, into these sculk blocks. Once these blocks are made into sculk blocks, every once in a while it'll produce these sculk sensors where I can, now with my silk touch, pick them up and use them for as I please. Again, you must have a catalyst near where the mobs get killed. Something you have to be very careful of. Notice there's an air gap between this chamber and where they fall, because if the sculk got up there, nothing will spawn on this. So I'm basically breaking the farm. So you have to make sure that there's a gap so the sculk can't climb through. Yeah. This isn't ideal, having all these here, but it serves my purpose. I get enough of these guys that I can play around and do some cool things. So here's one that isn't quite completed. The mobs are falling, but there is no catalyst. Here. So I happen to have another one. I only have the 3. That's why I can't put cobblestone there. Will not convert cobblestone. How many slabs left? Yes, I do. I do put this little window here. Sometimes zombies have feather falling or something. But as you can see, the as mobs fall and die, this catalyst absorbs their XP and puts it into the dirt, converting the dirt into the sculk block. Now, if we mine these sculk blocks, we do get a little bit of XP. Not a whole lot. This isn't really a XP farm. This is just to get our sculk sensors. And guys, now I'm curious to see how far this stuff will spread. I really don't know. It's gone this far. Seems to have stopped. This is my XP farm. Sits right up there. These are my sculk sensor farms. Produce enough for my needs. No high rates. Something does get killed out here. Anywhere near this stuff. It also turned the ground out there in the sculk. So I am curious to see if this will eventually all fill in. It's growing. It's slow. We had a better mob farm. And it doesn't have to be hostile mobs. You can build a chicken farm. Yeah, as long as the chickens get killed, XP, drop their XP. This catalyst will convert everything into this sculk stuff. It's pretty cool. Let's get on to what I'm doing with the armor stands here. And how I actually got them to work. Yeah, I'm just touching the surface of what can actually be done with these guys. But they are pretty cool. So very cool. Let's see if we can find a sculk sensor here. I want to kill my horses. Here's a cow. Come here, cow. Hey, buddy. Where are you going? Go back a little closer. Back over here. Right here. Nothing. This is not the catalyst. It's the catalyst that makes the sculk, not the sensor. Now they also makes a shrieker. This is the guy. This somewhere. This one. The shrieker. Also has to be broke with the your silk touch. Now, this doesn't need the catalyst. That does. Unfortunately, I don't have my sound on. But these things are extremely loud and make a whole lot of racket whenever these are activated anywhere near them. This will whoa, all the way across to here. This is what I better go to sleep before I get into trouble. What summons the warden in? Fortunate for us, the warden only summons in the deep dark. So if you do want these noisy things around your base, making shrieking sounds, it's no big deal. We can do that. Cool feature. Back with the wool. We put wool in between them. They don't pick up the sound. See, no more, oh. If you stand on top of it, I guess that's a little different. But these guys are not, because of the wool block. Okay, that's enough about the shrieker. This thing is noisy, messy, will not summons the warden, only in the deep dark. Must be broke with silk touch, or you'll lose it. These can only be obtained in the deep dark. Gotta use them, but your silk touch to mine it. And that's the catalyst. You need the catalyst to absorb the XP from our mobs that take fall damage. Drop their XP and it will, in time, I'm pretty sure it's gonna get its way together. As mobs fall in, this stuff will be produced. Sculk, funny name, but it produced, and there's a skeleton out there. Fine. You can hide under there, I don't care. Even an arrow will signal it. Yeah. You just have to, yeah, see? Can't signal it from this far away. But I can shoot an arrow over there and generate a redstone pulse. All sorts of kind of traps or secret openings. And shoot an arrow way off over there that would send a signal to open up a door, and you wouldn't have to even be that super accurate with your shot. As long as you were close. It's skeleton go. As long as you're close, it's all that really matters. Cool. Very cool. Is this growing? I think it did grow. I'm curious to see how far it does grow. Will it eventually just take over? Turn my whole base into this stuff? Imagine that would take a long time. You can also get these vines with your silk touch. Pick the vines up and place them again. They do kind of look cool on the tree. This tree is almost covered in sculk vines. So I took your normal tree and changed it into something kind of, I don't know, out of this world. These guys. It is such a chore to go all the way to the deep dark. It's awfully scary. Don't want to wake up the warden. I want to get more of them. So the only way to do it is to farm them. You know, depending on how efficient you make your kill chamber is how efficient it will work. You do get XP from mining it, but not a whole lot. You get a lot more XP just from these guys. So I really don't see it being a benefit. Try to produce an XP farm with it. But it's pretty cool. I like it. I think you also just put an armor stand beside it. Let me see. Do I have armor stands? Do I have armor stands in my inventory? No. No. Oh, here we are, armor stand. So it is possible to be really, really super simple. Maybe not. Didn't work the way I thought it would. Well, let me show you how I get my armor stands to dance the way they do. Let's just pick a spot, any spot. Where do I want an armor stand? Well, I think I'll just do one temporary. So like I said, we needed hoppers to do this. Unload some stuff here. So, if we take our armor stand here, and we want to give that armor stand a signal of a certain signal strength. I'm not talking very loud. Sorry. I could easily put a hopper here. I'll put some redstone here. And then just put, I don't know, 64 arrows. Sure. And that will get my armor stand to stand in that position. Okay, let's go to bed before I get company. Now, to get a different position on the armor stand, need some blocks or something. Yeah. To get a different position, I just have to give it a different signal strength. Now he'll be in that position. I want that position. I can change it up and give him that position. What I generally do, though, is I'll put in at rest. And what I would do with this one, I'd put a second hopper. Right in the back. There. And this one I will put a lot more items. Alright. That will give me that. Oh, that's kind of cool. This will be kind of like he's going to greet you. Okay. So, now I'm going to take our little shrieker buddy. First, I'm going to put an inverter here. This inverter should, when I put this signal into the side of that, it should turn it off. This comparator off. Now this comparator is reading this with the lower value and gets our armor stand to sit back in this position. Now all I need is my shrieker locale, and then I'm going to put a comparator and a next to him is a repeater. So now when anybody comes up to your door, the armor stand will greet him with a, "Hey, how you doing?" And nobody's there. The cow stops moving around. And again, I could put moved it back and put wool around it to block certain directions so that I don't get any sort of side movement from it. If I just want it on a path that leads up to my base. So the sensor detects something, sends a signal which turns this off, which allows this comparator, which has the larger value, more items in that, more items in this hopper than there is in this hopper. Signal strength from this will be higher than the signal strength out of this one. All with the use of this sculk sensor. Many other things you can do with these guys. It's all up to your imagination. But this is pretty cool. So there you have it. How to farm sculk sensors. You do have to go to the deep dark to get the first ones. And what you really need, most important, is the catalyst. You need to get one of those. You cannot farm them. They are the keys to how this works. This setup is just something I came up with. Any kind of kill chamber you put in, and have a catalyst sitting close, and blocks that it can convert, which are stone is fine, cobblestone's not. Cobblestone's not naturally generated. Dirt, naturally generated. Dirt will get transformed from dirt into sculk. Glass can't be converted. It always just gets covered in vines. Make sure you keep that air gap in there. If this sculk starts climbing all the way up to the top of the mob farm, in this case, nothing will spawn. Nothing spawns on top of sculk. So you can do your whole base in this stuff and you'll be safe. I just don't know if I'd want to do my whole base. Maybe. Kind of cool on a ceiling, maybe. So, nothing spawns on the ceiling, so that'd be kind of defeating the purpose. There you have it. My super simple sculk sensor farm. Keeping her short today. It's been a busy weekend. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. Until we meet again, this is Papa Steve's signing off.